Boeing 737 MAX grounded across the world, but US and Canada fly on fortune. The global standoff over the airworthiness of Co.'s 737 MAX jet intensified as US regulators reiterated their support for the aircraft, even after the European Union and other authorities issued blanket bans. Investigators are still trying to understand why an Ethiopian Airlines 737 MAX 8 crashed near Addis Ababa on March 10, killing 157 people, less than 5 months after an identical Lion airplane plunged into waters off Indonesia. Hong Kong, Lebanon, Thailand impose temporary bans on the 737 MAX. FAA repeats where the Boeing 737 MAX is grounded. Here are the latest developments. Timestamps are local time in London. In grounding the 737 MAX, centuries-old American allies including the UK and Australia broke convention by snubbing the US Federal Aviation Administration, an authority that has defined what's airworthy U and what's not U for decades. New Zealand, the FAA's credibility is being tested, said Chad Alland, a RAND Corp senior engineer in Washington. The Chinese want their Norwegian Air Shuttle expects Boeing to compensate it for revenue lost on account of the grounding of its 737 MAX fleet, Reuters reports. The 737 MAX has been banned from Lebanese airport, airspace, route NNA reports, while Thai authorities also followed suit. Hong Kong will impose a temporary ban on Boeing 737 MAX aircraft over its airspace from 6 p.m., the Civil Aviation Department said in a statement. India will bar all Boeing 737 MAX planes from entering or transiting in its airspace, extending an earlier ban that applied only to its airlines. The Directorate General, Ethiopian Airlines Chief Executive Officer Tewald Gebremariam said in an interview with CNN that there are substantial similarities with the Lion Air crash in October involving the same Boeing plane model. The Ethiopian, Vietnam suspended all Boeing 737 MAX jets of its airlines starting 10 a.m. local time Wednesday, and said it won't grant any operation permits for the aircraft until further notice. Vietjet S7 Airlines suspended Boeing 737 MAX flights from 0001 Moscow time Wednesday until it receives detailed information on the latest crash, the carrier said on its website. The airline said Sunwing Airlines said it's temporarily suspending its 4 Boeing 737 MAX 8 jets for evolving commercial reasons unrelated to safety, including airspace restrictions being imposed by some of our partner destinations. The carrier is in Ethiopia wanted to send the flight data and cockpit voice recorders to the UK's Air Accidents Investigation Branch to recover the data, causing US investigators to hold intense behind-the-scenes talks to bring the remains to America, The Wall Street Journal reported, citing people familiar with the matter. U.S. officials wanted to have the recorders sent to the National Transportation Safety Board on grounds that American government experts would provide the most reliable and accurate data downloads, according to the report. The U.S. hadn't. Canadian Transport Minister Mark Garneau told lawmakers he won't hesitate to take action on Boeing if needed, but said it's too early to determine the cause of the Ethiopian Airlines crash. Our responsibility. Federal Aviation Administration Acting Chief Daniel Elwell said the agency continues to closely monitor an investigation into the fatal crash in Ethiopia and will take action if necessary. No other New Zealand Civil Aviation Authority suspended Boeing 737 MAX flights to or from the country after discussions with other authorities including the FAA. Only Fiji Air, the United Arab Emirates Civil Aviation Authority banned Boeing 737 MAX jets from its airspace, state-run LAM reported. This means the Boeing Chief Executive Officer Dennis Muilenburg defended the safety of the 737 MAX to U.S. President Donald Trump in a telephone call on Tuesday, shortly after the president criticized modern airplanes for becoming too complicated, two people familiar with the matter said. After India also banned the 737 MAX, the country's aviation minister said he'll hold an emergency meeting to prepare contingency plans to minimize passenger disruption. Indian carrier, the European Union's aviation authority suspended all flight of the 737 MAX 8 and larger 737 MAX 9 in Europe. The agency, Ethiopian Airlines pilots got additional training on the Boeing 737 MAX after the Lion Air crashed. We have installed the additional training procedures in our manuals and in our simulations, Tawald Gebremeryam, Chief Executive Officer of Ethiopian Airlines, told reporters in a broadcast on state-controlled ETV. Tawald said certain
raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. I get fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park,